Hi, Sam.
Hi,
It's,
Emily.
it's so nice to have you here. This is Sam Choisy, and probably as you know by now, I'm Emily with I Buy Art, and we are so honored to be including your artwork, Sam, in this collection that we've curated based on the theme of landscape. And I wanted to just introduce or just give people an opportunity to get to know you and your work as an artist. So I know you live in Toronto and you were born and raised in France. And so recently you started doing a new series, which is absolutely compelling. And I've always really been fascinated with your ability to just as an artist to just weave like thoughts together and create these new bodies of work that have like they're a thread, there's a thread of continuity with them, but again each new series is just um like it's like a build on the last one. And so this new body of work is absolutely stunning. They're essentially they're mobiles, aren't they? Like they're cut out, hand constructed pieces of paper that you've created, or two-dimensional sheets of different materials. Can you tell me a little bit more about this body of work that you've been creating?
Yeah, of course. I have been working with motion and light for quite a bit now, and I'm really interested in how to manifest, I don't know, some sort of energy or life force through movement in the frame of a photography. So after all those experiences and researches and stuff like that, I came to the idea that maybe I should start working with images themselves. And as I was thinking about this relationship between landscape, stillness, and motion, I'm also working on um, photographing wind on the side these days. I haven't shown these pictures yet, but it's pretty interesting too, like how to combine motion and stillness together. So it's part of this research, and I've been lucky enough to come across a collection of vintage National Geographic issues from the 70s and 80s. And as I'm going through them, there's some images that are really, I don't know, appealing to me for visual reason. They have this little vintage touch, and they were made at a time where photography was a matter. I mean, it was a matter of a very restricted circle of craft person. Like it was not as democratic as it is now. So people were working with film. There was a certain type of way to photograph stuff, and I don't know, it talked to me. Like I wanted to work with this very photographic material, and I started to cut out shapes that were either following what was in the picture or were evocating something that the picture was telling me. And I started to photograph them together. Either first they were flat and I was moving around, and then I started to animate them. So very straightforwardly attaching them through a string, and then see how they could move, and then blow on them, use fans, or move them like Muppets. A whole range of scenarios, and yeah, just tries of all sorts. And what you see now is a combination of cutout photographs, cutout painted paper that are here to resonate or dialogue with the photographs, and they all combine in this dance during the exposure. So the exposure varies between a few seconds up to three. I mean, as short as 3 seconds and up to 30 seconds is the longest I've done with this project. So in this pocket of time, there's a lot of events are happening in front of the camera, and that's what the photo is about. It's just the combination of those shapes and movement and the content of those images merged together into creating this bouquet, which was the intention there.
Bouquet is a beautiful word to use to describe it. And I knew it's interesting because I think that you really combine a lot of art disciplines into these this particular series where, you know,
Yeah,
there's
in my work in
a bit of like,
general, I like to. It's true. I like to. Sorry to interrupt. It's I really. I can't be satisfied with just the confrontation of the reality and my camera. It can't be just this. I have to make a mark. I have to play with it. I, ca- I'm not saying it's bad or better the way I do it. It's just that I can't be satisfied enough. So it has to go through a phase of playfulness, and that's where things get discovered usually for me.
10,000%. And I think that that is like what the guts of great art is to be creating it for yourself and you know, really kind of tapping into the essence of, you know, what drives you. Because I think what happens, you know, later on in for certain people is if their work becomes you know, highly popularized, you can get stuck in creating the same thing. And
Yeah,
one thing that I've really noticed about you and the way you work is that you're constantly pushing the envelope, you're constantly reinventing yourself.
yeah, yeah,
There's new work all the time, and it's always that thread, like there's always a thread from one series to the other. So on that note, I actually want to share my screen with you, and maybe we could talk about this particular piece that we have for the collection.
yeah, for sure.
Okay. All right. Here's this luscious beauty. Sam, there's light in this, there's movement, there's color, there's
Yeah.
still life, there's motion. So, how do you accomplish that? And what's happening here in this photograph?
All right. So here, yeah. Okay, this one's interesting because it's in between two ideas, but you have well, the images are pretty much all the same in the same field. I'd say it's about landscape. So you have like at the bottom of the picture, at the page, you have a um, a larger view of a landscape, and then it's closer. You have flowers on top. You can see. There's two type of images here. There's the flowers and the lines at the bottom that are coming from National Geographic. I chose them only for visual reason. There's no message or concept behind. It's just vaguely, I mean, not vaguely, it's just frankly landscape oriented. You can see flowers and green stuff.
Hmm.
The shape itself is dictated by observations I've made in the forest, in the actual landscape. So it's loosely inspired, sorry, from actual leaf shapes. Um, and there's two things I said because there is vintage photographs from National Geographic and images from an art book that I've cut out. And the art book is a book from it's called The Devil. I forgot. Sorry, it's a golden book. So I'm using another artist's work, famous one this time, in this image. I have something in mind. Um, I would like to explore what it would be like to work in this direction, but with the work of action painters that I really like. So, as a sort of homage to the artists who inspired me and still do throughout my career as an artist.
Who
So there's two things here. In terms of the origin of the images, and there's two things also in terms of the directions I'd like to take. Um, but we're still in a landscape approach, and we're still with this idea that with combining different shapes, different colors in space, there might be a chance to be able to realize some sort of flying photo montage.
I love,
Imagine that.
I love that. So Sam, who are some of the artists that you're inspired by? I'm just curious.
Well, there's many, but and it varies all the time. But the solid base would be, the action painter. So from Pollock to Joan Mitchell to a lot of the work of Pierre Soulages. I don't know if you know, but he's a very big abstract painter from France. I've been very, very influenced by Arabic calligraphy.
Hmm.
So the way artist calligraphs from Northern Africa depict their spirituality through the writing of the sacred of the Quran. So they basically pray while creating art, and I was very early on as a teenager very impressed by this work. So there's always this idea of motion, color, and light going on in my pictures. Yeah, I don't
Beautiful.
know if I answered it.
Absolutely beautiful. I'm going to stop.
The calligraph I was talking about was the main one was Hassan Massoudi.
Okay.
Was the one who, yeah, that's the most.
Beautiful. Thank you so much, Sam. It really is such a pleasure to be able to get a little window inside your process and what you're thinking about when you're creating this work. So thank you for joining us, and we're thrilled to have you part of this collection.
Thank you for having me there. Thank you very much. Take care.